Hey guys, Bentley here again. We are going to talk about how to make a mold of a plate. If you have access, I actually have molds that I've made out of plaster of plates. You are more than welcome to do that if that suits your fancy. I highly doubt you have plaster at home, so you would have to go to Home Depot. But you can use a regular, just a regular dish you have in your kitchen. We just have to put something down on here first. So I have rolled out my slab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the slab and press it into the plate, and as it sets up, then I'll be able to take it out later and it will hold its form. The reason I'm going to do it on the inside is clay has a tendency to shrink as it dries. So if you lay your clay over the back side, what's going to happen is as the clay starts to shrink and it dries, you're going to get a crack here because it is trying to pull into itself and the plate is getting in the way. So if you put it on the inside, then you can just pop it out and, let's say you happen to forget that it's in there, it will come out and it won't get stuck to it and crack. So the first thing I want to do is get my slab out of the way. This is actually a good opportunity for you to play around with some textures before you put this onto the plate. I've got these like lemons come in them, or fruit. I think this was a pomegranate or something at Christmas. And I have like little ribbony thing, anything with a texture that you can press into the clay. If you happen to live with a baker, you might have this stuff called cheesecloth. They sell it in the cooking aisle. I think it actually is for making cheese. But that kind of creates a cool texture too. So I think I might do a combination of that along with one of the ribbons. So cheesecloth comes kind of all folded up. And I'm just gonna cut a piece. You can reuse this stuff. You just kind of rinse it like a towel. So keep in mind, anything I lay on this, this is going to be the underside of the plate, right? The bottom. So sometimes it's cool to decorate the bottoms of your pots. It gives people a nice surprise when they go to turn it over. Maybe when they're washing dishes or something. How do I put a ribbon there? Now, because I am putting this stuff down, the clay needs to have something that goes in between it and the plate, or the clay will stick to your plate. If you guys remember when I said that anything is impervious, that clay is going to stick to it, like a tabletop, that plastic rolling pin I have. So this is a piece of drywall that I work on. The clay won't stick to that. So it also, as you guys remember, the dry cleaning plastic is really cool because it doesn't stick to the plate like a grocery bag would. So I'm going to put that plastic down. Then I'm going to put my texture that I want to add. Put that ribbon there. And I'm not going to actually cut out my circle for my plate. I'm going to lay the clay in and then cut it out simply because it's going to go down into the plate. And I don't want it to be too small. So I'm just gonna kind of lay it in there, pressing it down into that, you know how the plate kind of scoops down. So I'm really pressing it in. I'm trying to make a mold, right? And I'm gonna get my rib. This clay is fairly wet, so I don't need any water, but if your clay had been left out too long and it's a little stiff, you can use some water. So this is just gonna kind of smooth it in a little bit better because you can see all of my fingerprints and stuff. So just kind of smooth that out. We're gonna do something really cool with these plates. We're gonna make plates of food. You guys are gonna sculpt the food. Okay, so I've pressed that in there with my rib. Now I'm gonna cut off my excess. I'm just gonna kind of take the big chunks off first. It's a little easier to manage. And I'm gonna save those to the side, these pieces of clay, because I can use them to start sculpting my food. So it's just kind of like a rough, so I have a little more control. Now, the plate that I chose was about 10 inches in diameter. okay, which is a pretty good size. Clay is going to shrink. So when I made this plate back in the day, it actually was maybe 12 inches when I threw it on the wheel, and then it shrank to 10. So I'm gonna have this hang over my plate a little bit right here, almost like it looks like a pie crust. Just to add a little bit of extra material, because the plate's gonna get smaller when it's done firing. So now what needs to happen is this is gonna set up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and just hit my edges here where I cut it so it's not like a sharp edge. All right, a couple spots where I hit it. I'll smooth that out. So this is gonna set up for a little while. And while that sets up, I am gonna talk to you guys about doing your, actually sculpting the food. So let me make a second video for that.